Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 29 of the EE PowerTalk. And in today's discussion, we're talking about alternatives to formal education. Kiongozi?
Yep. Kama kawaida, my name is Daddy Blessing. Mimi jina yangu lazima nirudie. Unajua tunaambia kwa gari yenye haina number plate ni ya mwizi. Hii iko nayo na si mwizi. I don't thief.
You don't steal.
Yeah. So alternative to formal educations. Hey, educations. Ni kama si kuenda shule.
You need to be beaten. I don't know why in high school or in primary school ulikuwa unakuta English teachers walikuwa wanaitwa Miss Masharia.
Yes.
Ulikuwa unakuta anaitwa Teacher Claire.
Teacher Claire.
There's always some fanciness about English teachers. My mother is called Dorcas, so Teacher Dorcas.
Teacher Dorcas. Wangu alikuwa anaitwa Teacher Who. But we knew her as Miss Moremi.
Kama ulikuwa na Mr. Kimemi, I think I can understand educations.
Educations. I had Mrs. Moremi.
But if Mrs. Moremi?
Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Moremi, mine was CRE. Alikuwa atupreachia.
Wangu alikuwa, she was the class teacher. Actually, I owe her a lot. Umesikia mahali jina.
Acha tuseme
I owe her a lot.
That is an effect of the illegal migration of Bantus from Congo to this country.
Yes,
you came and jeopardized the English.
Yes. Yeah. So I owe her a lot. Lazima rudia hiyo kitu tena.
Kwani umekula nini leo bwana?
Ni jemo.
Umekula hoho.
Jemo kuna what did you put in the tea?
Hapana, ni hoho umekula sana.
Yes. So now she's the reason why nakuanga very sharp. Yeah, by the way, the very first thing she did when she came to our school, alinieka as the head of the journalism club.
Budo ulikuwa head of journalism club.
Yeah.
Mimi nilikuwa atandikwa jio kuiba pencil. Most of it I was not a thief. I just used to have, I think nilikuwa tu na kismat na deskmates.
Ulikuwa unachukua huko unaiba?
No, nachukua ya nini na niko na zangu. Kwanza umeibia mtu HB, ilikuwa HB.
Yeah, HB. Yeah.
Ile colored pencil.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was back then. Education, that was still the education system. Yeah. We're talking about alternatives to formal education.
Alternative now to that, the 844 system, and how, where, and when you should indulge yourself in something that is informal. And for lack of a better word, these are the things that we keep on shouting, skills. Now, the 844 system is not bad, and we don't discourage people to go to school. But picture this. There are people that don't get to experience that privilege. Because education in itself, even though the system might be crooked, it is a privilege to be educated, to go to school, meet people from different walks of life, and understand how life goes. It is a privilege. There are people who didn't go to school. But still, they went out of their way. When they grew, they started now to learn things that can benefit them in the real world. In the modern day and age, there are so many things that you can do if you missed the 844 system or the new form. Leo hata sijui inakuanga nini. Sijui kama ni 8 ni 6 3
I think
whatever it is
2663.
I think.
Yeah, 2663 or something like that.
2
years sijui, is it this small, then kuna 6. Si wanafanya exams za grade 6.
Oh yeah.
And then you have from upper junior secondary all the way to senior.
Yes.
That is 6 years.
Yes.
Then you have 3 years in college or university.
Yeah, that system. If you didn't get the privilege to experience that system, there are other ways that you can learn. Number one, and the most common one, for the sole purpose of learning. Na msitupige viboko hapa because hatuambii watu mara nini. It is apprenticeship.
Yes.
Being an apprentice, offering to work without being paid, but you're being paid by learning. The very first job naweza sema ilinilipa ni kukua fundi wa mjengo. Ndio mimi nikuwe fundi. I offered to be mtu wa mkono without being paid. Fundi fulani akienda mjei, naenda namshikia leta akiitisha nyundo na kimbilia. Iron key na nini na kafiro. You know that kafiro? Kana teremuka hivi unaona kako. Unafungaga kamacho design fulani. Iko level.
Ni tumia fada. Una ile fada ya mbao.
Yes. Yeah.
Then sasa fundi anakuambia wewe bana. Okay.
That's apprenticeship. Like being given that opportunity to be in an environment to learn whatever it is that you want to learn without really getting paid. Once you get that skill honed, that's now when you can now start going to sites that can pay you to provide that service as a fundi. Being an apprentice doesn't really require you to have much, just a dedicated heart. And this is something we can recommend to people that maybe you're a form 4 leaver. Hujui uko tu idle. Kuna ile time unakuanga tu idle. You don't have much going on in your life and you don't have that earning ability because that's what makes people earn. How can you multiply or increase your earning ability? Is the skills that you have. How do you acquire these skills? We have said being an apprentice. So that's something we can recommend to people. Uko na time tu. Uko na time. Your time, maybe unakula kwa mom. You're being dressed. You're being taken care of. So you don't have stress. But you have a lot of time. Time is an asset at that time. So what can you do? Go look for something that you want to learn. Haraka. It gives you an ability to earn being an apprentice.
And by the way, being an apprentice, I've read books in the past.
Yes.
And they've talked about apprenticeship, where you go and learn from someone. You stay with someone. Have you ever seen photographers?
Yes.
Unanote photographer. Kuna kamtutu fulani kanashindaga kamemfuata.
Yes.
And then you wonder, akipiga picha anamwambia shika, nipatie hiyo kamera ingine. You think that's a side guy.
Yes.
But who ni apprentice.
Ako
kazi ana learn. I've also seen a mechanic. A mechanic ako huko chini alafu anasema leta hii.
Gatwero.
We gatwero we. Tarehe.
Fana.
Unaona? That is someone who is learning.
Yes.
And by the way, mimi learn. That is how I actually also learned. Kwani nadhani, like for example, if you went to a cyber cafe today and you don't know how to operate a cyber, how will you learn? Would you apply KRP?
It will be very difficult.
You have to sit with someone and you learn that.
Yes.
And that's the first way of learning. That is
acquiring a skill outside. School.
Now there's another one where we refer to as mentorship.
Yes.
Mentorship is, you know something.
Yes.
It's almost similar to
apprenticeship.
But now, in as much as unafanya, as unasoma, this particular thing, this particular craft, in case you want to ask a question, there is this particular guy you have as a mentor.
Yes.
Now, hakuguide through everything, but when you get stuck, you can run to them.
Yes.
I'm not saying that you take all your problems to them. These are the people who guide you.
Yes.
You're a videographer.
Yes.
Umeshoot video, and then you realize, oh, by the way, there is a problem over here with colors. Daddy Blessing, a quick question. This and this and this. You get someone who can mentor you and guide you in the same field. And that's why, like, by the way, I recommend, get yourself mentors.
Yes.
Mentors, first of all, allow you that when you make mistakes, you can easily get to have a solution.
Yes.
Rather than learn from the mistakes, rather than make mistakes and learn from them, unaweza kuwa una avoid mistakes zingine.
Yes.
You like sasa nikirealize, I don't know how to shoot a podcast. I've gotten a gig to shoot a podcast.
Yes.
Instead of making that entire mistake of coming and nianze kufanya mavitu hazieleweki, let me call this guy who's my mentor aniambie the tips and tricks on shooting a podcast.
Yes.
You see, it's going to give me a kind of education. And this is why I recommend that people get yourself mentors.
Yes.
It's a good strategy anyway. Yeah.
Now, the soft skill era is here with us. And it's not going anywhere. In fact, it's going to get more sophisticated and complicated as the technologies are coming along. There are things that you won't be taught in school. The e-technology, how to adapt to this new technology. There are sites that you can learn these skills. I'll start with Coursera. We are not advertising them. They have not paid us to advertise.
We're just giving information and tips.
Information. Coursera is a very user-friendly course. And a while ago they partnered with Google. Google Courses. When you go to Google Courses, they will refer you mostly to Coursera related links. Google Courses, I think, redirects you to Coursera, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong. Correct me in the comment section.
Yes.
some of the skills that people want to learn out here, we have millions and millions of courses that are outside the formal settings. You don't have to go to university for it. You don't have to sit down, listen to hours and hours of lectures and uncountable practical classes that will give you nothing. Because the funny thing about the formal school is that mnaendaga practical, lakini si wewe practical ufanye, ni uende ukaone mwalimu akifanya. Mimi sijaielewa hiyo kitu. How do you call it practical na si mwanafunzi ameenda kufanya?
By the way,
yeah, it is practical. Ni siku ya practical. Mmekuja kuwatch presentation ya mwalimu.
You should not be watching a presentation.
It is you shika ufanye. Yeah. In Coursera, most of the courses, they'll give you material to follow along. If you want to edit something, if it is color grading, for you to have a uniform result, that guy will, the guy who has posted the course will provide a raw footage for you to follow along that process of color grading. I'm talking to people who are in editing. If it is web design, the guy who is posting that episode of web design or that course of web design will provide maybe a link to a subdomain somewhere. Maybe you don't have your own domain. Work on this, yeah, or a WP. What is it called? A WP admin access.
Yeah, WP admin. Yeah, WordPress.
Yeah, WordPress. You might not have a WordPress site, but you can practice with this one. There is tangible things that you're working on. This online-based form of acquiring skills, it is so essential because, number one, it saves time and it is flexible and it allows you to learn as you're focusing on other things. That's the beauty of it. Because the formal education sometimes, unasikianga mtu aliquit job ndio focus na masomo. I've heard that for a very long time. Unajua sasa kusoma na kufanya kazi, sometimes it is, although when someone says that nakuanga na ish about them.
Yeah.
Because how do you have lectures za 3 hours that is ina interfere na job yako? See, you're in a university, a modern university. You can schedule a lecture anytime with your lecturer, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Although unfortunately in Kenya, it is lessons are grouped according to the availability of the lecturer. Juu lecturer akona universities 5 anafunza the same
same course.
Yeah. So akiwaekea ni Sunday sijui siku. I have a friend mwenye waliwekewa course ya philosophy on Sunday.
Philosophy on a Sunday.
Yes. And ni mtu wa kanisa. And you know philosophy na mambo ya kanisa hazienda nayo. Alafu weke hiyo course on a Sunday morning. That's a diabolical lecture.
By the way, I don't know why sometimes. By the way, that's I have a problem with university education. Because university education, first of all, in as much as it is formal education,
yes,
there's an aspect of the critical aspect of skills. Do you know, funny enough, YouTube is doing much of a better job than majority of universities. Yeah. Why? Because you find that the information that you're looking for, that practical information you're looking for, is there. Juicy, you know, right now we have what is this? You see, they're called Zoho. They're called customer relationship management software, CRM software.
Yes.
If you don't know how to use them, you just go to YouTube, search for a tutorial, and you understand how to use it.
Yes.
Right now, if I want to edit a video, I can easily go to YouTube and I learn.
Yes.
So it's also another way of getting education informally.
Yes.
All right. All you need is data, time, and the ability to sit down and learn. Unakuta raia mingi, we are always complaining that we don't have access to information nini. But you wonder.
But then nijua utaki.
It's the same way I ask people, by the way, why is it that you want to complain, but a platform like YouTube itself has a lot of information?
Yes.
The time in your free, bro, you don't even need to be looking for skills. Even life skills themselves, let me say that. If you want to understand relationships better, the best place kwenda ni wapi?
YouTube.
For free.
Yeah.
If you want to pay the premium option, very good.
Yeah.
But you realize that majority of us think that no, we need a teacher. tunavaa kwenda daro because we've become so institutionalized.
Yes.
We only believe that quality education is the education you get when you're in a classroom. Na unaona chalk desk,
chalk dust.
Na unaona chalk, na unaona duster, ama unaona kalamu.
Yes.
That's the kind of education that you used to. Self-education is also a form of informal education, because self-education is where you sit down. Jioni, you sit down in your house and you ask yourself, yes, I am employed, but in the company I'm employed at, they're not teaching us communication skills. You go to YouTube and you start learning communication skills. Ni wewe umekaa hapo hivyo. In fact, buy a smart TV, put it in your house, use it to learn in the evening. You'll be more productive.
I tell people, when it comes to learning something because you want to learn, not learning because it is mandatory, you get more. You understand more. Because this is something that you are learning for purpose. You want to understand it so that it can help you solve a certain problem. As opposed to going to school and getting a certification just because it's a requirement. You know, there's a difference. When I went to learn videography and all that, it's because I wanted to solve a problem in the market.
Of course.
It was a self-initiative. That's why it was easy for me to understand. As opposed to mtu anaweza forsiwa afanye media production na yeye ni wa vitu zingine. Because atafanya awaletee course, certificate, sinilimaliza. What else? Nitafutieni kazi sasa. As opposed to me learning all those things and going to look for a job. Myself. Not a job. Customers. I've learned that skill to look for customers. I'll get them because the reason as to why I was learning that skill is that initiative of going out to look for my customers personally so that I can serve them. It becomes much easier to learn informally because no one is pushing you. No, hakuna mtu amekupush to go and learn that course.
Of course.
You have learned that course because you want to, and it is beneficial to you in a way that only you understand.
Yes.
When you're in a formal setup of education, it doesn't really mean that you shouldn't get other skills honed within you. Look at many university students in the modern day. They are working out of a skill that has nothing to do with the course they are pursuing.
Of course.
Yeah. Mtu ni water engineer, lakini akona duka ya laptop tao. Why? Alikaa chini akajua, okay, how do you import XUK laptops? How do you install an operating system? Mtu anafanyanga hivi. How do you format a machine? Hizo skills ndio nafaa kukua tu nazo. Na nijue ability ya kutafuta customers. Thank you. Who are my major customers? Sintawatoa tu university students wakiingia wajue course fulani inahitaji laptop. Mimi sintawauzia, sintawa nini? Nitapose as the seller of the laptops. And that's what many university students are doing something that you've learned to solve a solution, to solve a problem that is existing already. It becomes easy, it becomes doable, and we tell people that it doesn't have to be all glory. Ara na ero. Glory.
Matamshi, yeah?
Matamchi na tamkwa. It doesn't have to be all glorious for it to make sense to you. Learn a skill that you know. I want to solve a specific personal problem. By the way, the easiest way to learn from maybe the apprenticeship approach and the not paid approach is when you want to solve a problem that you're personally passing through. The reason I became a video director is because I was struggling to make good content. So I wanted to understand those things so that I can become my own director.
But it went well for you.
It went well for me because now it is what it is paying my bills, right? When I wanted to learn about how to run a business, nilienda nikasoma to run my own business. Now it is more than just a skill. Kuitwa kuja na kamera yako, it's more than that. Ukisema kuja na kamera yako, nakwambia invoice itafika kwanza. Mimi sikatai kukuja na kamera yangu, lakini invoice itakuwa imefika mbele yangu. So I had to learn those skills. Now I help other businesses also set other structures. So I learned business consultancy through learning a skill to solve my own problem. That is why it was easy for me to learn business consultancy. That is what, like, I have answers for businesses because it is something, first of all, I struggled with. I went out there bila kufosiwa na mtu. It's not a certificate I was looking for. Si barua nilikuwa natafuta ya university. Nilikuwa natafuta solution ya kitu nilikuwa napitia at that specific moment. So it becomes easy when it is a self-generated initiative.
Yeah, exactly. But I like that whole description of big yourself first.
Yes.
You know, alafu kuna kitu inaitangwa where you have the self-discipline. To realize that enyewe ni kunoma, but I have to take that personal initiative to just say, hey, watcha, let me just change. And there is also another form of informal education where it's basically consuming informational and educational content from social media.
Yes.
TikTok, podcasts, especially podcasts like this one. This is education. Imagine like sitting down, like the other day I like listening to masculinity people, guys who talk about masculinity, and you realize that there is a lot you can actually learn from them. Like if you have a problem, it's easy for you to find a solution to that problem by just going online. And the most interesting thing about all easy stories or information is available online. Basically, you can get all the kind of information that you're looking for. But it takes that initiative to go ahead and listen to it, actualize it, and educate yourself. An example of podcasts. Ulikuwa unasema PBD. That's your favorite one.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
For me, it's Diary of a CEO. And you realize that unapata a different perspective from what you learned formally.
Exactly.
We are told, go to school, get a degree. Now, so someone who is telling you, build a personal brand, leverage upon that personal brand to provide services, get clients, grow a business, improve your life. Very simple. It's not really so complicated. It's not like it's algebra or some calculus or some. It's basic things that you have to understand that you can do it. Yeah, and this is why I'm always telling guys, like, by the way, take advantage of social media. Buddha social media has the ability to change your life.
Sure.
The kind of content that you can consume online that can open your eyes, ni mob sana. Mingi sana. And that's why for me I recommend an adequate and professional use of social media to learn, to improve yourself, and to even better yourself as a human being. So generally, if we all think about education, the formal education, sum it up, add it with some informal education. And especially let it be your own personal initiative where you realize that it's going like this, but I have to change and just consume this kind of content. Listening to a podcast is not going to take you a lot of time. Going to Coursera, going to Udemy and buying a course is not going to take you a long time. Skillshare, it's even very affordable. So for me, as I just sum it up, I'll just say that education and information has never been accessible as it is today. You might sit down and complain that we don't have information. We have the internet. If you want to understand cryptocurrency, eco. If you want to understand blockchain, eco. Data analysis, eco. Video editing, eco. Business, eco. Business analytics. If you want to even learn how to start a business, the information is there. So it's up to you to take the initiative to learn.
I love to say this. The moment that you feel overwhelmed, like everything that you can ever do in the world has already been done, just look at the people that are making inventions out of things that you never thought that you needed. You realize that we haven't even scratched the surface of what you can do as a person. So go out there, educate yourself, and understand that you can add more value. We are not discouraging people to go to universities. If you have that privilege, go to university, go through the formal education and all that, graduate, have those papers. They help people. We have seen them help people. But add something on top, because you are more marketable when you have other added skills on top of what it is that you know. There is a certain notion of people get paid for what they know. That is true, but that's half truth. You get paid for what you can do with what you know. Knowing something does not get you paid fully, because you know, then
what's next?
So learn something that you can know and do something with.
actualize it.
Yeah, that's the EE PowerTalk. My name is Daddy Blessing. See you in the next one.
My name is Elvis. See you in the next one.